Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm doing what has been much requested, basically my vinyl collection. So a thing about this is a bit different to my CD collection is the way it's ordered. So firstly we're going to look at some of the unorganized ones that I have, basically just ones that I plan to sort of listen to soon and stuff, so we'll look at those first. And then we'll be going in actually two A to Zs, as I have my record collection sort of split into two, both of them alphabetically. Sounds a bit odd, I know, but yeah, that's just how I have it at the moment. It's to do with lack of space and just stuff like that. So, okay, let's get started then. So, here we have Girls' School, and sorry there isn't really a cover for this, as the cover's on my wall. There's a few, obviously, where this will take place, but yeah, this is Girls' School's Demolition Man. Solid Girls' School album, I like them quite a bit. We have the classic Michael Schenker Group's first album. Unfortunately, it's sort of a bit water damaged. It's not the best. The vinyl, it's in decent condition. It sounds nice, and yeah, such a classic album. Yes's Tales from Topographic Ocean. Now, I think this is definitely more of the one of the more underrated Yes albums. Lovely Fish by Roger Dean. I really like it. It's only 4 songs, which is really cool, so literally one song aside. And yeah, it's just, if you like stuff like Close to the Edge and the Yes Epics, well then this is a whole bloody double album full of them. It's great. Nude by Camel. I've said many times before how much I love Camel. Camel are fantastic. Again, a fairly underrated band from the Canterbury scene from the 70s. This is one of their later albums. I think this could actually be 80s, which I picked up in Holland, in Amsterdam. I got this. It was only £1. Very nice condition. Lovely, clean copy. And some more Camel. We have Pressure Points, which I got from Oxfam. Yeah, this is a live concert, having stuff like Pressure Point, Sasquatch, Rider, and Rider Goes to Town. Yeah, it's a decent lineup. It isn't the best lineup of Camel. It doesn't have Peter Bardens, which is never good. Well, he guest appears on the organ, but, Camel's always better with him in the band. Rick Wakeman's Journey to the Centre of the Earth. This is one of his first solo albums. Well, no, I think maybe his third or something. I don't know. It's probably his most famous solo album, though. With some a weird booklet with some weird artwork. Look at this. It's odd, to say the least. Yeah, I have quite a few Rick Wakeman solo albums. I'm taking a look at quite a few. I'd say this is probably my favourite one. I definitely think it is the strongest, and yeah, the single on this, he only died a few weeks ago, so that was a shame, and Rick Wakeman re-recorded it for some bloody unknown reason. It's fine the way it is. Now this is a classic, Rush, All the World's a Stage. What more to say about this, except this is a double live album that contains the whole of bloody 2112. Side 2 especially is just so good. The whole of 2112. What more could you want? Alive. It's great. I love the song. Don McLean Tapestry. I'm not a huge folk fan, but when it comes to folk, I think, sort of early Dylan. I like all Dylan, but I'd say mainly early Dylan is more folky. But when it comes to just all-out folk, Don McLean is the man. I love American Pie, of course, and this is his third studio album, I think. Really dodgy smile there. Yeah, it's a solid album. It has the song Castles in the Air, one of my favourite Don McLean songs. And yeah, good old Don McLean. This is something I picked up fairly recently, Mike Oldfield's Exposed. This is a double live album from Mike Oldfield. Very cool, as it features the, Tubular Bells, in its entirety, part 1 certainly. I think it has part 2 as well, and it also features part of that stupidly long song that is the longest song ever recorded, that's not a loop or anything, which I can't even remember the name of now, but yeah, that's pretty cool, the version of that. Genesis Seconds Out. Now, I've always said many times before, I'm not a big Phil Collins Genesis fan. And this is Phil Collins Genesis. It is a double live album. And this is probably my favourite Phil Collins Genesis release. Even though, well, simply because it's so many amazing songs live. I mean, it has the musical box, okay, only the closing section, that live. It has the whole of side 3 is just Supper's Ready, and damn does, Phil Collins do a nice version of Supper's Ready. It's just the classic Genesis songs, sung live. Is it as good as the Peter Gabriel live Genesis album, just Genesis live? I'm not sure, but it's a great album, AC/DC, For Those About to Rock, yes, I wrote that on there. It wasn't a long time ago, I don't do that anymore, but, yeah, because I have it on the wall, so there you go, not much to say about that. The classic Rainbow double live. There's quite a lot of double lives I'm planning to listen to. So this is Rainbow on Stage, and this is the classic lineup with, Richie Blackmore, Dio, Cozy Powell, Jimmy Bain on bass, and then Tony Carey on keyboards. Great lineup. It's a decent live album. It's not as good as it could be. As you can see, it has stuff like Kill the King, Man of the Silver Mountain, it has Mistreated, which is interesting. I love the Deep Purple song Mistreated, but Dio, yes, he does a good version, but it's not really his song, and yeah, it's decent, but as you can see, there's barely any songs from Long Live Rock and Roll. It's mainly just from the first album, which is decent. And when was this released? It was released in 77, so it's about the year the Long Live Rock and Roll came out, so you'd expect to have a bit more. It's a little of a disappointing live album. And speaking of live albums again, we have this, which I showed recently, so I won't talk about too much. If You Want Blood, You Got It by AC/DC. Absolutely classic live album with Bon Scott. Again, another one I bought recently, Black Sabbath Never Say Die, the last Aussie Black Sabbath album. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble Texas Flood. Well, I didn't buy too long ago again, but still, what a blues album this is. It's one of the absolute classic blues releases. It's just great. It's really awesome. Supertramp's Breakfast in America. What a dodgy face that is. Look at that. How creepy is that? Except for the maybe dodgy album artwork, it's a classic album. Yes, it's very keyboard orientated. It's Supertramp, but it's just fantastic commercial 70s American rock, to be honest. And look at that photo. Now this is an interesting band. This is Triumph. They are a Canadian band. I can't say I've actually got round to listening to this yet, I have to say. I don't know much about it, but certainly the cover looks so cool. They're Just a Game album. How cool is this cover? It's pretty damn immense. It does have some water damage, unfortunately, like here, but still, the actual record itself seems in decent condition, and it looks interesting, to say the least. It looks pretty interesting, with including this seemingly a board game inside an album cover, which is not something you often see. European tours a sellout. Well, again, as you can see, they all have little things on them. Trash hotel room, get caught, lose a turn. So lots of, I can't say I've ever noticed that before. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to be moving on to some more alphabetical ones before we end off this part. So, starting with Aerosmith's Pump. An album I bought recently. Shown it not too long ago. But this is okay. It's not bad. It's not my favourite era of Aerosmith, but it has Genie's Got a Gun, it has Love in an Elevator. It's decent, you know. The Alan Parsons Project 10 of a Friendly Card. This is, I would say, a fairly underrated album. You don't hear too many people talk about the Alan Parsons Project. I mean, of course, Alan Parsons, famous for being the engineer of Pink Floyd, and I think he even worked with the Beatles at one point. He is prolific man. This is a 1979 album, and I think Alan Parsons also worked on Stephen Wilson's new album, The Raven That Refused to Sing, so that's pretty cool as well. Obviously, he doesn't sing, so the lead vocals are different. We have Lenny Zakatek singing some, Eric Wolfson, very cool names, Elmer Gantry, yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting album. It's definitely worth checking out, I'd say. Okay, next we have The Alarm, Eye of the Hurricane. Love The Alarm. They are a great band. Don't have too many of their albums, but this is, I'd say, probably their best album. I mean, Starting to Rain in the Summertime. Oh my god, what a song that is. The title track as well. Shelter. Just great album. Yeah, such solid rock. I mean, yeah. Bartley James Harvest, Gone to Earth. These are a sort of progressive band, I'd say, who have split into so many incarnations nowadays, it's quite hard to keep track. And this is one of their classic albums. This is a pretty classic album, one I picked up in Holland again, and yeah, I mean, solid album. Now we have a couple of Blackfoot albums. We have Highway Song, which is Blackfoot Live, and we also have Vertical Smiles. I can't say I really listened to either of these two, I have to say, so I can't really say too much, I'm afraid. But an album I certainly can say something about is Bruce Springsteen's The River. This is the only Bruce... Oh no, it's not. I have another Bruce album as well. On vinyl. You know, I have quite a few Bruce albums, mainly on CD, but this is a double. And yeah, this is just a fantastic album. Where's the track listing? Quite hard to read. But yeah, I mean, the title track, The River, I would say has to be my favourite. I mean, you know, it's double albums, it's quite long, you know, not all the songs are great. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite Bruce albums, but I think it's definitely a good Bruce album, definitely one worth checking out. When's it from? Is this one? Oh yeah, this is 1980, so yeah, definitely a Bruce album that's worth checking out. This one's quite damaged though, as you can see. I'd like to get a nicer copy of it, to be honest. Buddy Holly and the Crickets 20 Golden Greats. I don't often buy Best of's Greatest Hits. I've expressed before how I don't like them. But in this case, I just wanted to, you know, try out some Buddy Holly. I thought LPs are the best. This one I got in Holland again. Very cheap, only like a quid. Yeah, it's decent. I like, you know, it's very well produced considering it was late 50s. You know, I mean, obviously a sad story. Him dying and all, very young, but yeah, it's definitely a good, yeah, worth checking out. Buddy Holly, definitely some of my favourite sort of 50s rock and roll. So that's all I'm going to do for this part. Tune in for part 2 if you enjoy the series, and comment, rate, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.